And we're live! Hi everyone! Welcome to another Scotty Survivor Lost in Time recap. I'm your host of the podcast, Lee. With me are the two Scotty hosts, Govind and Shane, and all-star Michigan contestant, Erin. How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing well, sir. Thank you for the check-in.
Yeah,
How are
we are
you?
here.
That's the real.
Well, I'm upset with this vote off because I think everybody's favorite went home, sadly. And I know if she's watching this, Naomi, I'm sorry I spoiled it for you. But you have to understand, if I'm in a different time zone and I somehow watch it almost a day after the season comes out and don't get spoiled, how do you not get spoiled or not watch it? But I'll make sure to not say names anymore.
Yeah. For context, we have a group chat that we plan all of this in, and Lee accidentally said who the vote at was in before anybody had watched the episode. Which props to you, Lee, for being so on top of watching the episode. We appreciate it, but that was rough.
It's the first thing I do when I come home from work.
I feel like it's 24 hours after is not necessarily a safe bet for everybody having watched it.
See, that's usually my rule in other discords that I'm in that have premieres. It's okay, after 24 hours, it's okay to say names because it's a spoiler chat or something. It's if you see the name and get spoiled, why are you looking in this chat if you haven't seen it? So that's always my rule. It's why are you looking if you haven't seen it? Mute us. But enough about my problems. Let's talk about these other people's problems.
Good transition.
They have a lot of them.
Yes, because we start off the episode with everybody, mainly Abby, crying over the Ethan Booth. Erin, you weren't with us last week to talk about Ethan Booth. What was your reaction to it?
I think it was definitely the right call. I love Ethan. I will miss him dearly, but I do think that it was absolutely the right move. I think that it was a smart move, especially to do it during a dark round where you can kind of shift the blame onto whoever you want or take the credit if that's what you want. And I think, I don't think the dark round had a huge effect on Ethan going home, if I'm being honest. I feel like those same people still might have come together, even if it wasn't. But I think that Viv winning immunity that round did kind of help shift the target onto Ethan. Because when your easy vote does win immunity, you have to start looking elsewhere. And that's usually when a big move can happen more often. So it was sad as a viewer to see Ethan go, but I was very proud to see some strategic effort come out of some players, Henry, that we hadn't necessarily seen before.
Yeah, we always love a one-hit wonder, strategic wonder. I think that's the best way to describe
The
it.
one-hit wonder, he kind of had a lot to do with this one too.
He did.
Yeah, but this was kind of predictable. Well, not predictable, but just
It was
Wasn't
not
that-
supposed to go this way.
I mean, tell that to Nadia, who literally stood up thinking she should go home.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, whenever somebody's yeah, I'm going home, just I was expecting her to grab a torch and just be waiting there before the votes were read.
Yeah, it was quite the council to film live.
Yeah, because it was straight after the date night 4-minute talking round.
Yeah.
I suppose while we mention it, let's get into how did you come up with this twist? Or what made you think now's a good time to bring this in?
It was something that I've played before, and so we wanted to test it out. Because when I played it, it was fantastic, and it led to one of the most crazy blindsides of that season. So we're all right. So I brought it up. It seemed like something that was kind of shift the speed of the game up, which we needed to do because we were running out of time. In general, that's what we were thinking. Post middle of the season, we had created this twist way before, but middle of the season, we're gonna be short on time. This is one night, we're gonna get through another boat in one night instead of doing a challenge and then having to do 5 days later another council. So that was part of it, and then part of it was just to see, like, I do think that if you get the chance to talk to everybody individually, it can kind of affect things. But the weird part about this is, like, you don't necessarily know when you're going to get to talk to everybody, so you have to plan for everything. Which is where you kind of saw people being like, all right, if I shout 2, it's Haley.
Yeah. Definitely trying to call him. Why the name Double Trouble?
I didn't want to rip off the original name of it, and which was 2 Can Keep a Secret.
That's what it's called.
And then also, like, 2 people, double, 2, I don't know.
Prepare for trouble and make it double. Shout out to all the Pokemon people out there.
It definitely, I think it would have been way more exciting had Nadia gone home. I think that would have been, like, the more exciting outcome. But with Abby taking the, like, using the steal vote to negate Nadia's extra vote, it did make it kind of funny. And just Xavier was supposed to vote for Nadia, so.
Yeah, and then he just had to get revenge for Anna. I guess Unique wasn't enough.
Nope.
Well, we'll get into that. This right here had Abby very emotional. The girl can't stop crying even when the vote does go her way.
It makes me cry. I hate seeing Abby cry. It makes me so sad.
But that's why she's such an interesting character. It's like she's this pure villain who has these, like that's what's so interesting about Survivor. Like, people that are, like, they're making villainous moves but are, like, so remorseful about it. I think that's, like, we see so much of, like, the human element in Survivor through Abby, which is so funny considering all she did in the early part of the game.
Here's the thing. Abby might be a Survivor villain, but she is my hero. That is...
She's not even, like, a villain. She's, like, an anti-hero, but also, like, a hero at the same time.
Anti-hero, I think, is a great way to put it.
But she is, like, low-key, like, the underdog, almost hero of the season. Low-key, like...
Literally.
Yeah, it's like she's both the villain and the hero and the victim. And whatever the opposite of a victim is.
Everyone is just jealous of her.
I stand by that there will never be another College Survivor character like Abby ever again.
No, I mean, who can come up with another puppet master? And if they do, they're just copying Abby. And we mentioned the real side of College Survivor and pretty much any fan Survivor. You 3 have experience, well, I think we all do have experience where sometimes this fun little game that we all have tends to get a bit emotional and to get personal and feelings are made. I mean, Erin, your season of Michigan is very well known for that.
Yeah, it's hard with College Survivor and these fan survivors because you're not separated from your life. It's intertwined in your life. You can't just be like, I can play this different character in this game and then come out and never talk to any of these people again and be fine. Like, you can do that on an island when you literally are plucked away from your everyday life and taken and swept away, and you can make that whatever you want, and you don't have to ever see these people again. But when you're in an environment where this game is just becoming a part of your everyday life and you have to work it into what you're doing, it becomes intensely personal and it becomes a part of your life, and you do have to see these people, and these become your friends, these become your family. And it's hard to separate when it is just a part of your everyday life. And then obviously, like, if people take things too far, then things do get a little bit more personal. Like, I think that it definitely, you don't have to take everything personally. It doesn't have to all be personal. But as soon as it's made personal, you can't retract that. And I think that's the biggest thing about, like, College Survivor, fan-made Survivor, is as soon as you cross that threshold, you can't go back.
Yeah, I think everyone just needs to remember these are real people. They're not character. Well, they might be playing a character, but they're not characters. And while you personally might not take it personal, doesn't mean that the other person won't.
Exactly.
Wow, we got real there for a second. Okay, back to fake Survivor stuff. Nobody knows who flipped. Well, people know who flipped because Henry keeps telling everybody that he flips. Why is this guy telling everyone he flipped?
Oh, what it was said in the episode was that Haley let it slip to Valen by accident, and then Valen confronted Henry, and then Henry just decided, well, if Valen knows, Nadia's gonna know, and then if Nadia's gonna know, then the rest of the game's gonna know, etc.
Might as well just say it out loud. I flipped on Ethan. Everyone seems to be fine with it, though. Well, maybe except Xavier, but everybody else is just like, oh, you flipped.
I feel like they all probably knew that, like, they probably are better off with Ethan out of the game. Like, it takes away a shield for a lot of them, but if I'm being perfectly frank, not a lot of people on that side really needed a shield. Like, I don't know that there were a lot of big threats over there other than Ethan. So, I don't know. I think Xavier might be the only one over there that, like, was like, oh no, you took away my shield, and everybody else is just like, well.
Yeah, I guess Xavier and Valen shouldn't have dragged in Henry in the Sitting Ducks alliance. Maybe they should have dragged in somebody else. Or just kept it the three of them. Don't know why they needed a fourth. Like you were saying, Valen went on being like, as much as upset Ethan's gone, it is a smart move because Ethan is never going to vote off Abby.
Mm-hmm.
And with that Abby block gone, they can freely go after her if they choose to. Oh yeah, people think Xavier flipped. Somebody told Nadia that that she was the one that flipped apparently, which I thought was funny. Nadia's like asking Abby, "Who flipped? You? Wait, what?"
That's what the dark round does, I guess.
Yeah, great twist by the way. If you ever bring it back, please do.
Did not seem like all the comments agreed. There's a
Screw the comments. What do they know?
Dark round.
Dark Red, not this one.
oh okay, yeah, never mind. JK.
And another funny thing from Nikhil, apparently, Abby's the Antichrist.
Not
Like,
us finally getting some personality from Nikhil for him only to trash Abby.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I was like kind of saying to the episode, like, why do they keep showing him? And I was like, oh, he had a funny line. It only took 10 episodes.
Oh my god.
And it's going to take 10 more for him to have a second funny line.
I didn't even think, I don't know. That felt so much. She's not the Antichrist. She's just a person.
Really blowing this couple.
TV for my grandmother. I will be right back.
Aw.
No, stay here. Curses. Survivor Superlatives, everybody's favorite challenge to watch. No, a good one to be a part of sometimes. Because we all saw last season, because everybody took it so well. And then this season, y'all had some funny, like, superlatives, and there were some questionable answers. So, Trust With Your Life, Valen, that one's very expected. Valen got a lot of, like, oh, in the real world, you're, like, the best person to have around.
But not a huge, like, game presence.
Yeah, game presence low round, but if I need somebody to go to the woods with or plan, like, a vacation, I'm going to Valen.
Mm-hmm.
So, why do we think Valen's, like, this trustful person that everyone's just like, I will do anything with you?
I think she's like one of the most, if not only, like transparent people in the game. Like she is pretty clear about where she stands, I feel like. And so I feel like people are like, even if you don't stand with her, as long as you know where she stands, that's still a little bit more of like a trust bump than anybody who like could go either way.
Yeah. Apparently Xavier's the most honest, which...
Yeah, that one was not correct.
No.
Yeah, no.
No. And
No.
everyone's just like, he lied to me. Xavier, the most honest. Again, I would probably put Valen for that one. That's what I would have voted for.
I would put Haley.
Oh, Haley probably too. Yeah.
Haley, yeah, I can say Haley as well. Like Haley or
I feel like
Valen.
Valen and Haley are very similar archetypes, except Haley is playing from the bottom.
Yeah. Abby never shuts up. Okay. Maybe outside the.
I love
Maybe
Abby, but it's true.
maybe he never stops crying, but okay. Nadia has the biggest bark but smallest bite. I feel like if somebody got this in season 1, they would have been so offended. But Nadia is just like, I know.
I know.
I mean, she voted for herself. I think in the answer part.
I believe it. I think that one does make sense.
Yeah, Nadia definitely makes sense because she definitely comes. I don't want to say comes. I feel like saying this is going to sound. She comes off like very competitive and like should do it, and then she's like very like, oh, I don't want anyone to like. I want to be a nice person. It's just very like two conflicting people. Nikhil will never survive on his own. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
I mean, we can see in this game that he cannot do anything on his own. Mistake. Oh, who thinks that they're running the game? This is another questionable one. Xavier, Abby, and Vivian. Xavier, I agree with. Abby and Vivian, why do people think they're running the game when they've not voted correctly?
I think so. The question was like, who mistakenly thinks that they're running the game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they're not. So this is the person that you like. They think that they're running the game, but they're not actually doing it. And I feel like the fact that like Abby and Vivian have made it this far still while being targets the entire time, like they have to have some sort of agency. They have to have something that like is keeping them around. And so maybe they are like, oh, I'm running this because I'm staying around, even while people around me are like falling behind.
I guess so. I would have put Nadia for this one.
I think it's also the sort of thing that with a question like that, you don't want to. You're probably not going to think that somebody in your majority alliance is like the person who comes to mind for you with a question with like a negative connotation, right? So you're probably going to think of the people who are the biggest faces of the minority alliance, who happen to be Abby and Vivian. And whether or not you actually believe this, if I was in their shoes, I've like been spewing this gospel of like Abby's such a big threat, Vivian's such a big threat, we all must come together to take them out. You would assume that they think they are running the game to some extent, if you're able to like convince yourself that like they're that big of a threat.
Yeah. Most likely to stab you in back, Xavier and Vivian. So Xavier's the most honest and will also stab you in the back.
He'll do it honestly.
It's like, I'm about to stab you in the back. 3, 2, 1, vote with Nadia. Sorry, girl. And then Vivian, that's kind of obvious. She kind of basks in the fact that she loves lying.
Valid, yeah.
Nikhil, you should not bring to a family dinner. Okay.
Was that just because did people just feel like he was an easy dump for any of like the negative ones? Okay, that makes sense.
Speaking of negative, he also looks like he can't swim, and so does Abby. Imagine going up to someone and being like that. It's like, hi, you look like you can't swim. Let's prove it. Push them in the pool. Most attractive, Xavier. Okay.
Haley was robbed. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, to me, the most attractive cast member was already voted off, so I guess that was who was left. I'm not saying it out loud.
Lee, spill!
Now you have to say it out loud.
I hate when I say this because it's the same on Syracuse.
I have a feeling I know who you're gonna say, but we'll see.
Okay, I think AL is attractive.
Yeah. You're right. That is the right answer. I agree.
His ego has just ballooned 10 times with you speaking that into the world.
I never said I had good taste.
Ranjan, also a contender for most attractive.
Let's move on, please. Funniest. Oh, a pupper joins. Yay, that was cute. Whose dog was that?
The dog. Yeah, the dog that just randomly ran up. That was my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah, great part. True winner of the season. Okay, here's another, like, why? Or it's like, are we just not seeing anything? Funniest is Abby and Henry? Okay, Abby I can kind of understand. Henry's the funniest?
Henry's very deceptively funny. It's just a question of like we have no footage of this man.
Well, I don't know. They weren't gonna vote for most people weren't gonna vote for Abby. And no offense to the other alliance, but it's not like most of them are like cracking jokes.
I feel like Nadia could have been up there.
I don't think they thought Nadia was funny though, because like she's so serious in the game. But like her confessional is funny.
I think Vivian's also an option.
Vivian's very funny.
Yeah, Vivian. Haley, I mean, if they saw her confessionals, I think Haley would have gotten some votes.
I think Haley has the best. Haley and Abby for me have like the best, like, funny vibes in their confessionals. Like, and I think that's why people root for the minority is because like they are entertaining in their confessionals and the way they phrase them. Like Haley has so many analogies, it's ridiculous.
True.
I feel whoever makes those like Survivor like videos, like every time somebody makes like every Haley analogy video.
But you can be the one to do it.
I'm already editing up every tribal council. I'll probably find time. Stranded on a desert island, Valen. Okay, obviously. Hot dog eating contest, that's funny. Xavier, Nikhil, and Vivian.
I feel like Vivian just of sheer willpower. Like she would just will herself to win.
Yeah, she could easily get through. Okay, why am I saying this? Who do people least want to win? Nobody wants Abby to win. Kinda expected because Puppet Master, but the fact that some people would rather see Nikhil win than Abby is just disgusting.
Do you think that's concerning for Abby?
I think again, it's like, oh, go ahead, Lee.
I don't know, I was just gonna say, maybe for her mental state, yes. But game-wise, like, well, if nobody wants me to win, they're not. Why are they targeting me?
Yeah, I feel like this also might be another case of like majority alliance just kind of gets to determine what the answers are in touchy subjects. And like obviously, yeah, you want to stay on your alliance's good side and not say that you don't want to see any of them win. And so Abby was kind of the easy dump there, and with being Puppet Master. But we've talked about this before. Like it is looking like we might be heading towards a bitter jury. But I do really hope that they are able to step back, like once they get voted out, and be like, hey, you know what? I was played by the Puppet Master, and that's pretty damn cool.
I mean, to be fair, none of them were really, except for Val and Henry and Nadia. Everybody else was not played by Abby. Like the Puppet Master only affected those three in the jury, if they make it. Who needs to be voted off? Everybody voted Vivian, and everybody went through with it. Who needs a wake-up call in the game? Nikhil. I'll get into that a little bit later after this next one. Snake, Abby, and Nadia, because Fake Idol Queen and Puppet Master Queen. Who does not deserve to be here? Nikhil. Now, okay, Nikhil. He knows that he's terrible, and yet he's doing nothing about it. Why? Like, if you know you suck, aren't you going to change that?
To be honest, I think it comes down to this not being everybody's first priority in college. Like Nikhil, when he applied, was super invested and he had a really good interview, in my opinion. And then he just generally did not vibe that well with the cast that he was put with. And like you're spending so much time with these people, they become, like Erin said, your family. And if you'd rather your family be a different club on campus, like Nikhil still thankfully didn't quit, but would not invest nearly as much time in this as like everyone else.
Okay, yeah, I guess. I keep forgetting, like, these people are in college and you guys have other things than Survivor. How can you not have Survivor 24/7 on your mind?
I mean, I think
It's
that's
still on the mind 24/7.
Yeah.
When I played season 3, I was doing Survivor, marching band, had a job, and taking 17 credits all at the same time.
Oh yeah, we got to see Baby drum playing in one of the episodes. Oh no, it's cymbal playing, sorry.
Symbols, yeah.
And the last ones are who's the most dangerous left in the game, Vivian, and who will win the game, Vivian. Well, I think that last one's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't believe in the Redemption Island twist that's upcoming?
Oh no, I hate that twist.
Okay.
Never do it.
Too late.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that at some point before, but I don't remember which season. As long as it's not All Stars.
No. Well, maybe.
Okay,
We don't know yet.
no. I will fly to Carnegie Mellon and make sure you guys do
Well, we won't be there, so
You can get it up with the
Whoever-
randoms that are.
whoever else is there. I will fly to Carnegie Mellon, go through the entire school, say who's the host of College Survivor, who are the producers, go into the room, say do not do Redemption Island or Edge of Extinction.
There is a hot chance that the host could not be somebody who's a current student at that university. So you might more on that later. Back to you, Luke.
So superlatives end and Xavier wins. And how do we know this? Because he tells us in the confessional before the challenge happens. Yeah, there's. I don't know if you noticed, if Shane or Govind, you guys notice this. There's a confessional where Xavier says, he's like talking to Vivian. It's like, Vivian's interested, she won a challenge. And he says, well, I just won the challenge. So.
I fully did not pick up on that.
yeah.
Yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, did he. Oh, is this a spoiler? Or is he talking about when he won the first challenge? And then when he won this challenge, like, oh.
Oops.
Oops.
If it makes you
looks
guys
like
feel better, I did not notice.
I think I only know this because I edit. Well, when I say edit, I just literally download the episodes and cut to tribal council. I don't know if anyone's seen those tribal council videos. Xavier wins, everybody, and then the double trouble twist is announced, and we get to date night. I personally would love to do this because the fact that you get one-on-one to everyone is just like very important in this game. But I think if you're the first conversation, it's most likely not. It's the one nobody's ever going to go with. Because like people don't remember it, and then you're like talking to like 6 other people. You kind of forget. Who did I talk to first again? What did we say?
I think it fully depends on like the order of who you talk to based on like how much you trust them. So like if you are talking to your number one ally right off the bat, then you can kind of lay out a game plan right away and then feed that throughout your other conversations.
Yeah. I think it's more beneficial to do it to have your closest ally first than last.
Which lucky Xavier, he got Nikhil first and Henry last. Because I noticed those two kept voting him for all the positive ones. Maybe that guy's alliance is real. Vivian was telling the truth the whole time. So yeah, the main names that are being thrown around are Nadia and Vivian, and then Nikhil is a fake name to literally everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel bad for Nikhil because I feel like every conversation he had, nobody was really listening except for like Xavier.
I think I think the other thing too is like if you know that there are people that are clearly against you, like there were in this scenario, like it's like, yeah, Abby and Nikhil are talking, like what are you going to talk about? You know? Like Abby knows that she's not going to swing Nikhil. Nikhil knows that he's not going anywhere. He's just going to find his conversation with Xavier to find out where he's going to vote. So, I don't know.
I mean, at this point, we're seeing even more growth from Nikhil that he doesn't trust X, right? So, like, there's a little.
Oh yeah, because he goes through saying that Xavier is like on the bottom.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for that Nadia conversation, but then he finds out that Nadia hasn't been telling him everything, and he's like, "The fuck? Like, I thought you were my person." Because, like, especially when you're not putting in so much time into the game, you want the easiest route to just get information, so you can just like trust that one person. Probably in Nadia's best interest to just be upfront with him too.
Yeah. Do we think Xavier's on the bottom of the 5 now after the Ethan vote off?
I think it was not good for him.
I think it's a recoverable position, though. I think it definitely wasn't good for him, but I think Xavier is a good enough player that he can swing it to be like, hey, my number one just went out. Good on you for like blindsiding me. Like, good job. Now, like, let's work together to finish this thing out. Like, you took out the game's biggest threat. You had to blindside me. I get it because I was really close with him, but let's take this on together now. And I feel like that's kind of what he's doing with Henry, of like good job making that move, but now you and I can, we can fill that spot for each other. Like we can be the ones that are running this game over, like instead of just one person in Ethan.
I also think like he's not like dead in the water by any means in that 5, right? He seems to be relatively close with Henry. They voted together after that final like conversation. He's like fine seemingly with Valen. It's just a question of like, do Nadia and Nikhil have enough sway to like move the 5 against him? Based off what we've seen so far, I'd probably say no. That like Henry or Valen would probably put their foot down to make sure that like somebody in the minority alliance would still go home first. But I guess that's still yet to be seen.
Yeah, I can see Xavier. Like, I'm just imagining if the final 5 is the 5, I can see Xavier getting Nikhil and Henry to flip on Valen or Nadia. Probably Valen, because I think should be easier for Henry and Nikhil to flip on, and then Nadia would be by default. So I think it just really depends how he makes it there, and especially how he navigates with Abby and Haley. Because another funny thing, the Xavier Haley conversation, Haley's just like, I feel like you're lying to me. You better not. Which he was, so Haley has good intuitions.
Haley most honest. Xavier
Yeah.
not most honest. Just proof
Like-
right there in that conversation.
Oh yeah, Haley got no superlatives.
Yes.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's I would say bad, personally. Like, because that means that nobody in the game is really paying that much attention to you, whether positive or negative. Like, you're just under the radar. And in final tribal council terms, that means you're a goat. Like, I think that that being like, I would rather be the person that people least likely want to see win than get 0 superlatives. Because that means that they aren't even thinking of me. And
Yeah,
that means that I'm not making enough of an impact on this game.
Yeah, and to that one person in Survivor Odyssey questioning what form of goat when you got that in your superlatives, no, it's not greatest of all time. It means drag to the end, get no votes to win.
Leave him alone.
That Discord thing is going great, by the way. Especially those last 2 ones. I'll talk about them like a little later if I have time. Oh yeah, Nikhil once again rips into Abby. Abby's too selfish. She won't play the idol for someone else.
Thoughts on that? Should Abby have played the idol on Vivian?
I think
I'm gonna say
had she
no.
not stolen that extra vote, then yes. But like I feel like grabbing a vote swing is almost the same as playing an idol or grabbing, like if Nadia's scared enough to be playing her extra vote and you steal that from her, then you pretty much think that like the vote's going your way.
Okay.
So I feel like at that point she didn't think that she had to play the idol.
Yeah, I can see that as well. I don't think playing an extra vote and an idol would have been good. Oh, that's another thing. Haley forgets about all of Abby's advantages. Like, this girl has an idol, an extra vote.
I don't think Abby told Haley about this one, so Haley was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
Oh, did she not? Oh, so Abby just convinced Haley, I already told you. Oh, I guess you did. I'm just forgetting. Speaking of telling people, how do people know that Nadia's extra vote? Specifically, how does Abby know about the vote? Did Nadia tell anyone?
Ethan found out from Valen, who told Abby.
Oh, okay. And then Abby leaked everything. So maybe Valen's like shouldn't be trusted because she's leaking everybody's plans. Oh yeah, we got a nice moment of Nadia and Valen's like little friendship moments because they're like, "No, don't leave," which I actually found nice because the Zaman trio, they always talk about being united, but we never really see them united. And then just that little moment, just being like, "Oh, they actually do like all trust each other." Yeah, Vivian. Oh yeah, so Vivian's pre-planning with Xavier. Now this is kind of another like weird rant I want to go on. So Vivian goes on about trusting Xavier. So, as much as I love talking about Valen's Stockholm Syndrome with Zaman, I think Vivian has a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome with Xavier, because this guy has never voted with you at any tribal council except for one, and yet you still trust him. Why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, he did technically vote for Nadia last week, but then she didn't vote for Nadia.
Still, you guys never voted together except for one vote. Like, why is it about Xavier that Vivian's just like refute? Just like believing, like, oh yeah, I trust Xavier, despite him actually voting for me, and we've only voted together once.
I don't know. He's like a very charismatic dude. It's hard to like convince yourself to rally the troops against a man who you genuinely enjoy talking to, right? Because that's like half the battle of being well liked in this social game.
I wouldn't know anything about that. And well, that's the end of date night. Everybody talks. We get to tribal. Nadia tries to play her extra vote, but then Abby steals it.
That was interesting timing too. On like they all went to go vote, and then she played the extra vote after everybody got back. Is that just because there was no like tribal questioning, so there was not really an opportunity to be like, if you have any like pre-voting advantages, play them now?
That was just because of that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and thankfully she said it first, or else that would have been a whole debacle. Yes, I'm making fun of last tribal council, Odyssey style. And so Abby steals the vote, revotes, and then we see for Nadia and for Vivian. Nadia's prepared to leave, and then the last vote's read, and everybody's winner pick goes home.
I personally, in that moment, because like we had the whole like the Henry moment while he was voting of like, is this the right person? Because he was supposed to vote for Vivian, but Xavier was supposed to vote for Nadia. But I think it would have been like, it would have sucked for Nadia, but it would have been so funny if she went out because Henry wrote down the wrong person's name. I think that would have been hilarious.
Wait, was that actually supposed to happen? It was like, were both of them supposed to vote for different people?
Yeah. But that's what Henry was like, you vote for Nadia and I'll vote for Vivian.
So why did he switch his vote to Vivian?
Because Xavier had like a, I don't know, he had like a vendetta, I guess.
The girl was voted out how many tribals ago? You already got rid of 2 of the people, and she told you she was voting her. Yeah. Also, I know you guys are editing. This is just a little thing. I really don't like the whole like confessional right before the last vote because it kind of just spoils the whole thing. But that's just a me problem.
I'll push back on that. I think it provides some like cinematic like oomph, especially like that first time when
They all got voted out.
Yeah, all got voted out. I thought that was badass.
You mess with the God Slayer. I mean, I think it was obvious once, but whatever.
But I think I'm also biased in the fact that I know who's going home. So because of that, I like my viewing experience is very different from yours, Lee. So
Yeah, like I said, it's just a personal rating. You don't have to change it.
Yeah, I got you.
It just makes it really difficult editing it. So when I have to like cut out the clothes, like no, and then everything's like choppy. So that's really the only reason. It's purely selfish, like Abby in the game. So that's the end of the episode. Do we think this is the right move for Xavier or Henry?
Henry, yes. Xavier to be determined.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Xavier could have maybe like gotten himself into that Ethan role of like being like, hey, Abby and Viv, like I'll look out for you, and like been able to have more options. I feel like this eliminated some of Xavier's options.
Yeah, I feel like I say this after every tribal council. This was a bad move. No, I don't want to say a bad move because getting rid of Vivian is definitely good because
Vivian has winner energy. Like it's just facts.
Yeah, I mean, we all thought she was winning by just one confessional of her saying that she loves to lie.
I think if she had made it to the end, she would have swept. The only person she might not have swept against was Abby. I think that would have been a very fair fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't really say
But
it was
Ethan, Abby, and Vivian all together, that would be a freaking nightmare.
God, imagine that final tribal council. There would be no zero vote. Well, I can see Abby being a zero vote person, but that'd be for more bitter reasons.
I hope not. Don't say that.
Erin,
Don't put that in the universe. Like, we're not doing that.
Abby is still not in a good position. Like,
listen. Can you let me live in my fantasy world where Abby floats to the end and wins? Because that's what's happening. Nobody's bitter. Everybody literally doesn't even ask a single question to Final Tribal. They all just stand up and they say, "Congratulations, Abby." They give her a round of applause. They crown her.
They give her a Burger King crown.
She deserves it. I'm just saying what Abby deserves. That's all.
So I can't really call it a bad move because it gets rid of a person that could easily win. But the fact that now Nadia pretty much knows you wanted to get her out and she's still in the game, you could have voted her off and keep Vivian, who's still willing to work with you despite everything.
Nadia's actually gonna go be in the Black Widow Brigade now that Vivian's gone.
I will say. Actually, I will not say.
Don't say.
I will not say. But I really want to say.
I would say it after the live.
Spicy.
See, Vivian's gone, everybody is sad, and now we don't know who to. Well, I was going to say we don't know who to root for. There's plenty to root for
Abby.
this season.
We know who to root for.
Yeah, there's like so many. Once again, Erin's winner pick is gone.
Heavens. Your winner pick is gone too, Lise. Oh, wait, no, your merge winner pick actually isn't.
Yeah, I switched mine. I was smart.
You did. Wow.
Merge winner pick again, Lee?
Haley.
Haley, okay, gotcha.
And I still technically have my backup winner because I did main winner and then 2 backup winners.
Okay, but that's cheating. You don't get backup winners. There's no backup winners in Survivor.
That's called runner-up and second runner-up.
It's called not winning.
Well, my other option that I was thinking about picking at the very beginning of the game, they're still in. So
Was it Nikhil?
No, it was Valen.
Gotcha.
Because I can see, I mean, I sent it in the Scotty Survivor chat. I can kind of think of like, okay, who will each jury member vote for, and like what order? It's like, oh, this person will get their vote, but if they're not there, it'll be this person, and so on and so on and so on. Basically, Nikhil was last at everyone's votes. Okay, I'm going to make this public announcement. Whoever votes for Nikhil to win, if he makes it to Final 3, does not even deserve to have an edit. They should not come back to All-Stars, and they should be kicked out of CMU.
Kicked out of CMU?
Because they clearly need to get their education together.
Not that.
So, this was a fun episode. Anything else to talk about?
I don't think so.
Right, so we're at the final 7. So, Erin, since you lost your winner pick, who do you think is going to win?
Abby. I'm living in the world in which Abby wins Survivor Carnegie Mellon Season 2. That is the world I choose to live in, and nobody can convince me that world is not this one.
Erin, realistically, I know that's your dream, but realistically, do you think that's what's gonna happen?
So that's your fantasy win. Who's your reality win?
It's Abby. I don't care. I don't care.
Erin's like, I don't care what the writing on the wall. It's still Abby.
It's still Abby. She has an idol. She can maneuver her way out of it.
To be fair, she should have been gone 4 votes ago. Like
everybody probably she should just start playing up. Like, you know what, guys? I am a goat. Like, everybody hates me because I'm the puppet master. So you should bring me to the end. Just trash me.
Yeah.
Bring me to the end and then trash me your entire Final Tribal.
Me and my 12 idols.
Exactly.
Her and Nadia can like have an idol off. Like, so here's my 12 idols. Here's my 24 fake ones. We'll compare notes. Speaking of notes, why am I still looking at mine? Oh yeah, I was about to say, the order so far has been, for the merge, Verandi, Dorit, Verandi, Dorit. No Zaman. All three of them still in.
Interesting.
Will that change? Who would win in a Zaman Final 3? I think Valen.
Who is that? That's Valen.
Valen, Nadia, and Henry.
Not who is Valen. Who is
Valen's the tall one.
Valen,
Valen, Nadia,
Valen
and
is
Henry.
not tall.
And Valen's extremely short.
Valen is like 5'3".
Oh, she looks tall in the.
My brother was saying the same thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, Valen, is that the one who's like at least like 5'9"?" And I'm like, "What?"
Short. No, I wouldn't say count out Nadia though. If that was.
I agree. I think Nadia has a chance. I feel like I don't know. I think it would be that would be interesting because I feel like people who are more strategically minded would vote for Nadia, but people who are more like emotionally minded would vote for Valen.
And don't forget, if Henry were to continue this train of getting what he wants, then he's not out of it either.
I'm sorry, but anybody who has a voting confessional where they go, is that the right person? I don't think that's winner energy.
But they don't know.
That is not winner energy.
Well, Erin, you're saying you never had a moment in Michigan where you didn't know you were voting for somebody at the voting booth?
Can't say I did.
Yeah, I don't know if I did either.
You never went up to like, wait, am I voting Eliza or am I voting Will?
No. God, no.
Oh, yeah. And once again, the extra vote has failed in a 5-4 because last season it also failed in a 5-4. Sorry, Cushy.
Yeah, rip Cushy.
Yeah. I mean, Erin, I don't know if you're a stranger to an extra vote and almost going home because of it.
I wish I was.
So enough making fun of these people. We will see you next time for Scotty Survivor episode 11, final 7. I think it's coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday.
I mean, I really would hope so. I don't know what else would happen if it didn't. Yeah. So
it will come out Tuesday, the final 7, and we're getting closer and closer to that final. And we'll see you all next time for another Scotty Survivor.
Episodes.
Three more. Hopefully I can make that last one. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.